And we're live. Welcome to the VG Tonight Show with your hosts. You want to be me, Dom Squad, and our special guests, Cam.
What's up?
What's going on, fellas?
Your mic is really quiet, Jason. Just saying.
So, we're gonna start off tonight's show talking about how there was a ridiculous amount of shoutouts on opening nights. I want to start talking about this.
Well, there were a total of 7, which is pretty absurd. Just for the league in general, usually there aren't too many shoutouts, but like that's a shit ton.
Yeah. Do you guys think there was like a lot of people going into the first game worried offensively to do anything and they just ended up getting shut out? Or do you think it was like the opposite of just teams wanting to be very defensive?
Could be more of just people weren't accustomed to their teammates yet and weren't ready to
just feeling each other out, man. Chemistry.
Finger blast into these assholes and shit.
Cam, do you want to add anything?
I agree with what he said. And is my mic good now?
That's a little loud still.
Fucking shit.
Alrighty then. We'll move on to our...
How about now?
That's a little bit better. It's getting there. I'll move on to our next category. We are going to talk about some of the blowouts that happened during this week. First one we're going to talk about is the Arizona Duck game. This was a little bit of a surprise to some teams, as not a lot of people were expecting the Ducks to do that well, but they blow out the Coyotes 0-6, and they only let the Coyotes get 7 shots.
Yeah, I played the Coyotes, not the Coyotes, the Ducks on opening night, and they surprised me. They were a lot better than I thought they would be. Give those guys mad props.
I think a big part of it was, I'm pretty sure he played this game. No, he didn't play this game, so it doesn't matter. But a lot of people didn't know about Great Zilla. I think he's going to be a really good source for the Anaheim team this year. But let's see who was playing this game. They had Perry, King Kong, I don't know how to pronounce that name, but that player. Chuck and Eggert, and I don't know how to pronounce the other defenseman name. T.I. Lees? I don't know. And then Jasmine was in net with the 7 saves. On the other side, there was Guess Who. I've played with him a couple of times. He had 2 penalty minutes in the game, 2 hits. I don't know. He's an alright defenseman. There's Algstrom, Woody, Firefighter, and then Dougie was in net. And Dougie's a pretty solid goaltender. So
Yeah, I'm surprised that they played so well, and I think they may be one of the sleeper teams that we all slept on last week when we were talking about who we thought would be good and all that. And they clearly took that to heart, and they're showing us what they're capable of.
yeah, they got 5 goals in the first.
Jesus.
Alrighty, we'll move on to the next team, which was the Minnesota Wild at the Dallas Stars. The Dallas won 0-6. There's only 9 shots that the Wild took. The Dallas scored 3 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the third. See who got those golds. Karilla. Everyone knows Karilla. He's a really solid center. He had 5 points in that game. Birdwidge was right wing and Tanger was the left wing. Robbie was the Big Mummy, who is off to a pretty decent year. Had 6 assists in this game.
Maybe he took that to heart too. Without everybody saying how overpaid he was, he's like, I'm going to show you what I'm made of too.
Yeah, and this was, which game was this? This was 10:30 game on opening night. So it wasn't the first game, but, pretty darn close.
Yeah, they had some time together.
So the other team, they had a goalie there, which I'm not familiar with. Garden, it's statement, maybe. But they did have at least one. They had a couple of good players. They had Rhythm and Strange of Decade for defense, and they had JCB for center. And JCB is a pretty decent center, and defense are familiar names. They may not be the best defensemen, but they're definitely can hold up their own. So,
Oh, yeah.
and it's just showing. A lot of people were commenting on Dallas's bidding before the season started that they really didn't have a team, but
They went out and took a nice little one there, so
all right.
you never know.
Anyone want to add anything to that game?
Jason.
I
No.
can't see any of this schedule, man. I can't see anything.
Okay.
Are you just saying that word?
Did Skiles remove me from everything? I got booted from VG.
All right, then, Cam, do you want to add anything about this game?
No, not really.
No? Okay, cool. Well, move on to our next game, which was the Hawks at the Jets. Score 0-9. Whew. 11 shots was all that the Hawks got against the Jets compared to the Jets' 10 shots. The Jets only missed one of their shots. Didn't go in the net.
That's fucking crazy.
I'm not surprised by it at all. The Jets are,
They scored 4 in the first, 2 in the second, 3rd and 3rd. Hell's Elite was a net for the Hawks. Their overpaid goaltender. They had Ethan on center, Lee the North on left wing, Headcase on D.
Rip.
And then you look here on their lineup, and this isn't even their first liners. And all their first liners here. Yoshi was in net. Ghoststead 12 was point center, and then you had Easton Matt, of course. And then you had Deadly and Liquid Lunch. Bosphorus didn't even play this game, although I do know Liquid Lunch and Deadly are a pretty good pairing. But, yeah. Any comments about this game? I know it isn't exactly a surprise that the Jets got so many, but only missing one shot and only allowing 11 shots against.
I'm not surprised about the Jets. They always have a solid team. Boss knows how to run a team.
yeah, he definitely does.
Alright then. Yep. Pretty interesting game there.
Good start
Let's
to
see.
the season for the
Alright, so let's transition into our players of the week. Our players of the week were Team Mills, Westside Hockey, and Big Mummy.
Rip.
Where is that at? I'm gonna find that page.
It's under the news section. But Team Mills had 11 goals in 4 games. He helped the LA Kings go off to a 3-1 start, and we're
Probably
definitely
player of the week there, huh?
who was that? Dom Squad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're actually the second runner-up. You also had 16 points and 10 assists.
Try not to be bullshit. The one distributing the points. Van didn't lose the game, you know?
Yeah. Although he did have a plus 11, you had a plus 9, so.
Yeah, but I didn't lose. He lost.
Big Mummy, he had 3.5 points per game. Obviously, he had 7 assists. Obviously, one game he had 6 assists. So, don't know if that's, a little bit sideways or what. But and then he had he had that in 2 games split. Obviously, there was that one game where he had 6 assists. So, but both the games that he was in, they shot out the Wilds and the Predators. So, take that as it is. And then the honorable mentions were them for Stay at Home and Fu Manchese, but no surprises there. And then Westside Hockey, he had 4 wins and only allowed 1.69 goals against average.
It's pretty good.
What?
They're saluting Ray.
Jeez.
The honorable mentions for those would be They Call Me Rev and Deadly Nasty. So,
Someone got some extra background noise going on over there.
yeah, right. So obviously, Big Mummy's a surprise here. Anybody else want to comment on this?
Well, throughout the first 2 games, he's played pretty well. So, I mean, obviously they're hoping he stays like that, but we'll have to wait and see how things go.
Westside seemed like he was playing really good. I'm actually kind of surprised about how well of a start he had to be under 2 goals against average, and obviously only 4 games in, so a lot can still change in the season, a lot. But it's not a terrible start, definitely.
No, it's a good start. Sure.
Yep. Alrighty then. No one on side. Anything else to that, right?
No.
Alright, cool. Go ahead and move on to our games that are happening this upcoming week. First game that we're going to talk about is the Hurricanes at the Rangers. You want to talk about this?
Well, if Jason's in it, he'll lose. What I'm going to say.
Do what?
If you're
Yeah,
in it,
Jason?
I'm trying to fix these trades that I got owners messing me about right now, so I kind of missed what you said.
We're talking about the Hurricane Ranger game.
Oh, I'm no longer part of Carolina, so
Oh, that's right. You were bought out. Are you currently in bidding right now, or?
I would imagine I'm going to bidding. Yes, I don't know if it'll be today or when, but
Okay, cool. Awkward. But, yeah. So, Carolina's off to a 3-1 start, and the Rangers are 4. And, Devin Daggs has been playing pretty good, and obviously the Hurricanes have been playing terrible. So, kind of interesting to see what will happen here.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those games to keep an eye on and see which team can prevail and show their worth.
Next game we're going to talk about is the Los Angeles Kings at Vancouver, which I gotta say, it's kind of interesting that, Dami, are you going to be playing in this game?
Yes, I will be.
So you and T Mills will be going head to head if T Mills is playing.
My boy T Mills.
So
It'll definitely be a good game.
yeah, so I'm just like, wow. So he just got Players of the Week and he got the runner up. So this game offensively could get real quick out of hand. Have you guys thought about this at all? About what could happen in this matchup?
No, I haven't really talked to him much, but I'm sure he's definitely looking forward to this game.
Has Snake said anything about this?
No, he hasn't. Kind of just been focusing on some other things, but I know he's definitely really looking forward to this game tonight. And Toronto definitely get this win against the Kings
Yeah.
because they're always a tough challenge.
Yeah,
And-
I don't run them anymore, so you're okay. Easy win. I want to
Yeah.
give a shout out to Lindy94 too. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, the Kings are off to 3-1, and then obviously Vancouver is undefeated so far this season. So to be a cool matchup. Next matchup I wanted to look at also included Vancouver, and it was against the Golden Knights because both teams are undefeated, and obviously they're playing pretty solidly right now. Guessing you guys haven't thought about this matchup against.
I looked
No.
at the schedule and I saw that, and I was definitely looking forward to it because I know Malcolm and I love playing against each other, and whenever we match up against each other in club as well, it's always really really fun. And I actually played up against them last night, which was pretty fun. It was a West Coast game, but other than that, it was really fun.
Yep.
And I'm really looking forward to that game and give him a nice little ass kicking.
Yep.
Show him no
Should be
mercy.
interesting. All right. I'll move on to the next game. It was Detroit at the Panthers. This matchup is pretty interesting because both teams have been playing pretty well, and Florida lost to Detroit last week on I want to say Monday at 9. No, Wednesday at 9:30. So and it was I want to say it was a pretty close game. And both teams have been pretty quick offensive starts. So, Cam, do you? Oh no, I guess Cam's not around right now. Maybe I don't know.
My bad, I was doing
Nope.
something real quick.
Okay. Yeah, you got anything to say about the Wings Panther matchup?
No, not really.
It's
Keep it up.
M Club and Prodigy versus Greek Elite.
Greek's gonna win.
And no Lindy.
Good
Greek's
old
gonna
Lindy.
win that.
Well, they won it last week, but do you think the Panthers have made any adjustments now that they're
No,
getting
they're not
second
gonna
run?
win it. Panthers aren't gonna win it. Sorry, I'm all for Greek on this one.
Ooh.
Oof.
Don't be surprised.
Jason, you got anything to say about this?
I watched some of their game last week. They were streaming, and I don't know. I mean, Detroit pretty much handled them. It was a close game, but I think Detroit's a better team.
I'm saying Detroit's gonna blow their shit out of the water.
You don't even know where you're at, Cam, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know where I'm at. They're gonna mark my words. They're gonna win by at least 4.
Oh, okay. Bold prediction, I guess.
At least 4.
Okay, we'll move on to our next matchup. Oh, never mind. That was the last one. Same thing. Anyone want to add up anything about the games that happened this week or that they saw were coming up on this upcoming week?
Nothing.
And we're not talking about Detroit versus Canadians either.
Come on.
No.
I'm just saying. That was pretty crazy. Who was
Yeah,
in net for Montreal that game?
For Montreal was Boston, and let me tell you, he
That
was
explains
pretty. Yeah, he was pretty hyped about beating.
If it was
Greek
that other guy they had, they would have been fucked.
Man, I don't know. I would disagree with you there. So.
I don't know, man. Why do you think they already,
Yeah, well, good segue into our next topic. Next topic is going to be talking about the trades that happened this week.
Man, there's a barn burner out there on those.
All right. Jason, do you want to take these, or do you want me to take them?
I don't have them up anymore. Go ahead.
Oh, okay,
You
cool.
had them wrote down. So.
Yeah.
I gotta go on there.
All right. So, the Dallas Stars traded Goudreau and Tom 89995 to the Columbus Blue Jackets for Simple and Rastafarian.
That's a horrible trade.
It's honestly just depending on if Goudreau will even play, which I'm
Goudreau's
assuming
gonna
he's
play
not.
2 a week. That's why I let him go bidding. So yes.
There you go.
All right. Next trade, Winnipeg trades El Pargionfo to Anaheim for Kajia 4KA and
What?
a second rounder. Interesting. Anyone else want to chip in here?
I'm pulling it up right now.
I'm pulling up the trades right now. But I got one I do want to talk about.
Wait, what was
Okay.
the one which one you talking about?
He's talking about Winnipeg, Anaheim.
Oh yeah, I'm not too sure who either of those players are, so I really can't comment.
Well, I know Kuja 4K, however you're supposed to pronounce that. He's a pretty decent player. The player that I've never heard about, which I'm surprised Anaheim added in a second and for this, is the El Perdomo Foe. But I know he was also in a draft pick. So I don't know if maybe Anaheim really wanted him in the draft and they couldn't pick him up in the draft. Maybe it's somebody's buddy and that's why the trade happened, or
That's usually how it works.
That could be it. Yeah.
that's my only thought. Is that maybe he really wanted it and Boss Ross took advantage of the situation, got a second, and got a pre-known player back for him, a pretty good defenseman.
Yeah, that's probably what it ended up being. So I mean, I'm sure they're happy from that.
All right. Next trade is the Carolina Hurricanes. Traded Double Bra and Brandon Cyber 87 to the Golden Knights for Steel City Fan 17 and Vegas' second round.
I think it's pretty good for Vegas because Double Bra is a very good player, but I'm not really too sure what his availability is like. If he is willing to play more than 2 a week, I'm sure that's a great trade for them. I know how much Malcolm likes Steel City fans, so that's definitely a solid trade for both teams.
Yep. I know Brandon Sniper is also pretty decent at least. So
He's average.
yeah.
But Double Bra DB is 4 a week. There were some issues in Carolina. That's why I shipped him out too. He only wants to play center, which puts Malkin on a wing. And I don't know. Anything goes wrong over there, I see DB and Malkin going at it. Most people can't.
Yeah.
How about?
With Malkin anyway, so it'd be good if they stick together.
Yep.
How about that AHL trade though?
Oh, we can talk about that in a second. Next is our first three-way trade of the season. It was in between the New York Islanders.
Your mic is fucked.
And
Games.
what's going on?
I gotta drop 1 second.
Okay. Okay, cool. I guess we're all right then. That was weird for a second.
I don't know if it was just me, but your mics were trashed.
Oh, the cam, I think that was just you.
I heard that. I heard that shit.
So,
Alright, it wasn't just me.
okay, so it was the New York Islanders traded with Detroit and Montreal. New York Islanders traded Newsies to Detroit. Detroit traded second round pick to Montreal, and Montreal traded J.C. Campbell 13 to the New York Islanders.
Jay Campbell?
Yeah,
He's not.
Jake Campbell.
I don't like him personally. He's a good guy, but yeah.
Why are you laughing, Dommy?
Just the way he just described it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, and we'll move on to the next trade. Another Golden Knights trade. Smoke Show to the Toronto Maple Leafs for a first-rounder pick. Not really surprised here. Toronto has quite a bit of history with Smoke Show Joe being on their team. So, and I definitely think for a first-rounder pick for him, it's
he got
pretty good
smoke
trade.
again? What the fuck?
Yeah. The only bad thing about that is Smoke Show Joe's bad at the game. Go fuck yourself.
Oh, well, then there you go. Apparently, it was a bad trade. So, up to how you want to spin it, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the last trade, which we're just going to fly through, Winnipeg trades first-rounder pick for Montreal. Montreal sends Ozip to Winnipeg
overpaid
Jets.
as fuck. Way overpaid, dude. What is this? A first-round pick?
But yeah, so we're just going to fly through this trade, okay? No one has anything else to say?
No, we gotta. I think we gotta discuss this trade.
Dami, do you have anything to say?
Nah, I'm good.
Nope.
You don't think that's overpaid?
Personal opinion.
Okay, cool.
I
Jason,
think that was a
you
good
don't
trade,
have anything to
honestly.
say? All right, cool. We'll move on to.
I think that was a good trade, but for
Well-
Montreal, but
Wow. Okay.
no, I'm just messing with you. Man.
Yeah.
Montreal knows that pick's gonna be low, anyways.
Yep. So, at this time, we are gonna hop over to the VGHL chat and see
What?
what some gossip is going around the league.
Oh boy.
All right. So let's see. Lindy is commenting on our show. Let's see. So you have 4 viewers for your show, yet don't interact with any Twitch messages. Why? Laugh out loud. Said Price. Very interesting. It's Big Mummy. What surprise? Anyone have any comments? Lindy is very interested. Oh, and he's level 15.
And he's having a grand old time.
I guess he's saying, yes, we played good. Well done. Awesome. #1 rated show in primetime ball bag. Oh, cool. Awesome. Dummy is saying some words to Wendy. Yucko saying it's rude. Hey, Zip, shut up. Cool. Hi. You're not welcome in the show ever. Okay? You can go over and make your own show. Yep. No, that's what's
Hey,
good.
Zip,
Seems.
shut up.
So yeah, that's what's going on in the VG chat right now. Oh, let's scroll up a little bit and.
$20 Zip gets moved by the end of the week again.
Now let's see what else is going on. Jay Campbell was talking about some EA Monopoly in a couple of years. Bet you he doesn't know he's been traded yet. VG tonight got released. Let's see, there's a new message. Hattie, you're not allowed in the show because Jason says you suck.
What about that AHL trade?
I mean, if you want to talk about it, you can.
No.
Well, do you want to talk about what happened? You know what I mean? You can have the mic for a second.
No. I mean, it's simple. Capone's a good guy. I'm okay where I got moved.
Ah, gotcha.
But I don't feel like I'm going to get a lot of playing time there.
Gotcha. Okay.
Gonna have to wait and see how things go.
Yeah. We'll see.
All right. Well, our last segment that we want to talk about was with a couple experienced owners.
Oh, boy.
Sorry, my Alexa was just talking to me. Creepy.
All right.
So what we want to talk about is the speed and transition in the game, and what's the best way to help get the speed and the transition in the games that you play to help keep it going and help keep it speed it up, or what you can do to help change it to help make it be better, and how to stop it from the defensive standpoint. We have a couple of defensemen in our chat room, and we have a couple of forwards and a couple of players who have played goalie before, so I feel like we have a pretty round group. So who wants to start off this conversation? Okay, I guess I will.
You start.
Alright, so the best way to stop it, since I've mainly played defense and goaltending, is that you have
In
to
the
put...
AHL.
No, I've played defense at the NHL level, sir. And I'm going to be playing goalie tonight, so that's going to be changing.
Hey, let me know if they're streaming.
Anyways, so the best way to stop it is to definitely apply forecheck. If you can get your forwards to go in and put pressure on the defense and break up those passing lanes, can easily be turned into a quick transition into an offensive opportunity. And from the best thing to have your defensemen to do is to get them back, get them to protect the blue line. Because once the team has made the initial pass from their defensive zone and into the middle of the ice, they're going to be trying to get across that blue line sometime soon. The best way you can do is play blue line and try to break that up. Anyone have anything they want to add there?
Well, for defense wise, you can have the best D in the league, but if you don't have forwards that can cover like the slot and the other D man, you're gonna get picked apart. If you don't have a center that knows how to play defensive, they're gonna work the slot all game, which is a nightmare for a goalie.
You really have to just learn to play the team, play strong defensively. Otherwise, you're not going to go very far.
Exactly.
Yep.
Offensively, you gotta learn to use your D if they're open.
Cam, do you want to, since you've played forward, or Dami, or I know both of you guys have played offensively a lot more than I have, so I think you guys would be better off talking about how to get a good transition going.
Well, don't push too far. Go ahead, Dami. Go.
So you don't want to do the same thing over and over again. You definitely want to change up your style of play, and always do something that most defense don't expect. Like look for that backdoor cut. Don't just force cross crease over and over again, because you're going to catch on very easily, and then your offense will just have absolutely nothing because they'll just be sitting there looking for the same play over and over again. And you definitely want to, if one thing's not working, try another. And that's what most people don't understand, is they just stick to their game plan, don't want to try anything new. And that's why they don't grow themselves as a player.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of guys, they'll just, like you say, keep pushing the same thing. When you keep pushing the same thing, obviously.
Well, the bad part about that is it works for some bad teams, man.
Yeah, with certain teams it'll work, which makes people
they'll
go into
100
good
times
games
a
and keep
game,
doing it.
and it'll work 2 or 3 times. But you want to hit trailers. You want to be moving east and west too, not always north and south. Guys understand that.
Yeah.
I would say what's pretty important is also that first pass that you usually get from your defenseman to the
Yeah,
center or to your winger, because that initial pass can determine how the whole entire transition.
Depends how high up you are. You always need some guy to be lower than the other two, because if you have all 3 guys at the same level of ice, it's so easy to pick off the breakout pass.
Exactly.
You always need somebody that can trail, and you always want to have your other defenseman stay near you or behind, so you can reset the play. Worst case.
And
I feel like
a rush from blue line to blue line every time does not work.
No, it does not.
You need some movement through neutral zone, some passes.
You need at least usually 1 or 2 passes before you even enter their zone, unless it's a good breakout.
And that's where east and west is huge, man.
Especially if the team is playing the blue line, because you don't always want to have to dump it, because the team's eventually gonna catch on to it. But dump and chase is a valuable method that you can use.
It works a couple times.
And you can usually. Yeah. And another thing you gotta really learn is to be able to adjust your gameplay throughout periods, because some teams are smart enough to catch on to what you're doing, and if you're smart enough to be able to adjust your gameplay to counter their adjustment, then you can also have successful offenses. Like if they cover in the D and you just keep playing low and you see all 5 start to crash low, start using your defense. Let them throw some shots on, get someone in front. It's EA. A goal's gonna go in sooner or later if they let you keep taking those shots. And don't always feel obligated to pass. Throw it on net.
Like apparently what Dami needs to do instead of passing it. Tell your team that Ozip told you to shoot more, so you're only gonna shoot the puck your next game.
Alright.
I don't know. I mean, Dami's line's pretty stacked. You'll see one game Ninja will shoot 10 times, the next game he won't, and Dom will shoot 10 times, right? I've played with both of them. I know how they play. So.
How's Run Like Hell working out on your team?
It's working out really well. Definitely enjoys it here. played with us last season in Vancouver as well, so familiar face, and hoping things stay going well.
Yes.
Yep.
She is a girl. Whoever asked last week on the chat, I forget who it was. Did you use it?
No,
she
no,
was a-
no, it wasn't me.
Who was it? I forget who was on here, but yeah.
One of the very few good girl gamers that I know.
She's more than good, I would say. How many trophies does she have under her belt?
More than I'll ever have.
That's for sure.
Well,
Fuck you.
hey, so we got. I have a question.
More
for
than
you.
you'll have either.
Yep.
Cammy, I got a question for you. This comes from Hattie's Hen House. Did Cam give me Logical's fake Skype? Yes or no?
No.
He says no, Hattie.
Man, Hattie's just living the life in the VG chat apparently.
Of course he is.
Let's see. Did anyone have anything else that they're looking forward to for this week that we didn't already talk about?
Fuck off.
No? Okay. There's a couple other things I wanted to mention is that there is once again this season we're going to be having the upload contests for the best hits, golds, and saves of the year. So once again we're going to be doing you can upload them all season, and then at the very end
I
of
know
the
who's
season,
gonna get the best goal.
and at the
It's gonna
very
be
end of
against you.
at the very end of the season, there's going to be an award for whoever wins that. Also, this year, in case you guys were wondering what happens, it's a season when you get a Player of the Week. If you're a Player of the Week, you're going to get a badge. Also, the site...
A badge?
No, a badge. Like
I just said that.
Yeah.
I said that.
No, a badge.
I said that.
Okay. But yeah, so it's like so. Let's say if someone wins Player of the Week 5 times, there'll actually be a record of that on your player profile, which is kind of cool. So the league has already gone through and added in some. Also, to be noted is that we're also adding in on the site. Let's say if you won 3 Stanley Cups or something like that, that's also going to be rewarded here shortly onto your profile also.
Was that a paid sponsor from Castro?
I'm gonna say no.
It sounded like you read word for word.
No. It's just I already thought out in my mind what I was gonna say. But yeah, Hattie is saying that Cam's a liar. In case anyone
Fuck
was
you,
wondering.
Hattie.
All right then. I think that's all we have here for the VG Tonight show. Anybody want to add any closing comments about this upcoming week? Anything about the trades or what happened last week? Oh, there wasn't like too much to talk about because obviously only 4 games have been played, so season's very much wide open here. I know Jason, you weren't here last week, so I don't know if there's anything you want to talk about that we didn't cover last week.
I think we got all of it. Just gotta. I'm sure next week there'll be a lot more to talk about. This will have been 8 games per team and a whole load more trades, and it'll be a lot better.
Yep. All right then. Wish you guys luck on your games tonight, and hope you guys all be competitive and
Yeah, you're
have a
gonna
fun
need
night.
it, buddy. You're gonna need it. Good luck to you, Ozep.
Hey,
Who do you guys
at least letting get traded at the AHL. So
Who do you play?
when do we play?
No, who?
Who? Let's see. My first game is gonna be against Dallas.
Oh, okay. Well, you're all set, but.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Have a great night.